At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to great.
Good evening, Dr. Sununu.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and welcome to Politics Tonight, where we dig and go beyond the headlines for informed analysis of major political stories in Nigeria. I am Precious Amayu. President Tinubu writes National Assembly seeks approval for $21.5 billion external loan. Tonight we'll be dissecting the humanitarian challenges in Nigeria. My guest is the Minister of State for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. Welcome to the program, everyone. Stay with us. The Speaker of the House of Representatives read President Tinubu's request to lawmakers at today's plenary. The request seeks to address infrastructure deficits, stabilize the economy, and improve the welfare of Nigerian retirees. The plan will raise up to $2 billion through the Debt Management Office for deployment into sectors that drive growth, create jobs, and boost foreign exchange inflows.
I want to use this opportunity. Sabonbiri local government, this is a with His Excellency the Governor. It's a Allah forgives. I want to use this opportunity. Sabonbiri local government, this is a with His Excellency the Governor. It's a Allah forgives.
All right, let's now turn to politics. The People's Democratic Party has threatened to resist alleged attempts to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. Acting National Chairman Iliya Damagum made this known after his NEC meeting in Abuja. Senior reporter Habida Lawal has more.
The NEC meeting of the PDP holds at a time the party is grappling with serious internal challenges that threaten the party's unity and electoral prospects. The 99th National Executive Committee meeting, attended by key party leaders and stakeholders, seeks to address the growing concerns over defections, coalition strategies, and the party's overall direction ahead of upcoming elections. During the meeting, PDP National Chairman Iliya Damagum emphasized the importance of solidarity among members as the party faces a crucial period in Nigerian politics. He acknowledged the recent defections of several prominent members to rival parties, stating that these moves highlight not just the challenges it faces but also the urgent need for introspection and unity within its ranks.
In firm resistance to the sinister plot by the Tinubu-led APC to turn Nigeria into a one-party totalitarian state, as evidenced in the desperate attempts to strip and annihilate opposition parties through open siege, threats, and intimidation of opposition figures and institution of democracy in Nigeria.
Prominent party leaders called for a more robust alliance strategy that could bolster the PDP's strength against the ruling All Progressives Congress.
Governors are united. We are ready to work. No amount of intimidation or exclusion by the federal government will make us give in, because there is a lot of it.
As the party of the people, we must recommit to healing these wounds and restoring faith among our members.
The NEC meeting concluded with a commitment to fortify party structures at all levels, foster engagement with grassroots supporters, and enhance communication within the party. As the PDP hope to settle the dust, there are still many contentious issues that have been left unattended, but it hopes to address many of these issues in its NEC meeting slated for 30th of June. Abida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, let's go on a short break. When we return, we will get right into our conversation for tonight. Stay with us.
We shall remodel our economy to bring our growth and develop the GDP, achieve the GDP much better than we have today.
By May 29, it would be exactly 2 years President Bola Tinubu was sworn in as the 16th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with a mandate of renewed hope. It is time to beam spotlight on the scorecard on this slogan in health, interior ministry, aviation, finance, foreign affairs, trade and investment, and some more. Join us on Beyond the Headlines with Nifemi Oguntoye as we engage federal ministers and executive governors across the country to share the challenges and successes. Tune in to TVC News at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. from the 19th of May to the 30th of May 2025.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective. Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Jackson, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
And welcome back, everyone. You're watching Politics Tonight. Nigeria faces extensive humanitarian challenges, and that's including conflict-related displacement, food insecurity, and then the impact of climate change. Addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach, including improved targeting and prioritization of resources, enhanced efficiency in humanitarian delivery, and a shift towards proactive anticipatory responses. Additionally, strengthening collaboration between government, development partners, and local organizations is crucial for sustainable solutions. Now, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu is the Minister of State for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. He joins me tonight to discuss the humanitarian challenges in the country. I will also examine the ministry, especially as this administration celebrates 2 years or counts down to 2 years in office. He joins me live from our Abuja studio. Good evening, Dr. Sununu.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so we are speaking with you at a time that this administration is counting down to 2 years in office, and Nigerians are waiting to hear all of the administration reel out what it has achieved so far. But I want to talk about your ministry. You took over that Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs at a time when it was dealing with negative publicity. Also, there was increase in commodity prices, and then we also saw the decrease in funding for global humanitarian aid. How well will you say, especially when it comes to negative publicity, how well will you say that you have been able to regain, or to what extent have you regained the trust of Nigerians in that ministry?
Well, thank you very much once more for having me here and for giving us the opportunity to always come and have a dialogue with Nigerians so that they will know, they have an information and knowledge of what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing in order to rescue Nigeria through the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. And I also want to use this opportunity to congratulate ourselves and also to congratulate, most importantly, Mr. President for steering this country for the past 2 years and for uniting Nigerians and moving forward and coming bold with a lot of reforms that very soon we will start enjoying the benefit of those reforms. And with that, definitely Nigeria would be among the nations that one would be proud of in the near future. And secondly, as you have mentioned earlier, we were really in the ministry, and all you have mentioned were there in terms of the image of the ministry vis-a-vis assessment of Nigerians and what happened in the ministry, with so much allegation here and there, suspension, and also outright removal from offices of the principal officers and actors in the ministry. That has really affected us at first. But you know, the world is about facing challenges, and you must be there to repose the confidence, to strengthen the confidence that is reposed in you. And for the two of us, Mr. President has confidence that we can deliver, and we also promise that on our own, apart from the ministerial development and mandates that we have signed, to do our own best to ensure that we meet the expectation and satisfaction of Nigerians so that we can deliver the 8-point agenda of Mr. President. And through that, Nigeria will have the reasons to know that there is a lot of buffer to be provided for the negative consequences that arose from different sources such as the post-COVID-19, natural and human-made disasters, internal displacement with over 3 million Nigerians, which is a number of one country or a state in Nigeria that has over been displaced, and we are doing a lot to ensure that we have bring human first their way of life, and also to see how much we can improve in terms of improving the spending power of average Nigerians. And in doing that, we have to make sure that we introduce the concept of transparency, not only by saying, but even in our disposition, and tracking our activities to see how much we are doing and how much do we need, and where do we need also act fast to ensure that we make our correction. For instance, now, the national conditional cash transfer that is ongoing, that we are going to discuss, we've seen a lot of people have been reached out of, and then along the line,
Dr. Sununu, I will get to that in just a moment, but I want to stay on the image of your what's it called, your ministry, because it will, no matter what you achieve.
This is what I'm saying.
Just a minute, Dr. Sununu.
There are issues. Some of the issues we will get to address.
I know you want to talk about your achievements, but just give me a minute. We will get to that. I just wanted to also ask you, because when you took office along with the minister, I'm sure that you did your own investigation within that, that ministry. What did you discover to be the bottlenecks to the ministry's impact?
You see, the determinant of that, one of the first which I have mentioned is the lack of confidence on the ministry by Nigerians and the international community. And the basic fact that results from that is lack of accountability and transparency. And in our own, we instituted that as our first line of action in doing things, so that we want to ensure that we have ensured that whatever we are doing is done transparently, and is also done with tools that can be tracked and monitored. And that has really improved our rating. And a lot of our international community has the reason to see how much they can partner with us in trying to make sure that they have come forward because they have seen and they have trusted us. This has made us to see how much our interaction with development partners like World Bank and many organizations, even in Arab, like Qatar Foundation and many other foundations, has really improved because we have shown that this is where we are heading to, and these are the elements that we have put forward to ensure that we have a transparent running of activities of the ministry. That's one. And then two, we have also tried to be put in the front burner an engagement that is very effective. For instance, now, whatever we are doing now, rather than taking at a Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, we give it a national outlook in such that state, local government, civil society group, non-governmental organizations are all involved together, and this key civil society group serve as one of our third eye in terms of monitoring, tracking, and reporting back to us. And I think just some few, even today, I think, based on the report we have received from Nigeria Integrity Groups, which is also a civil society group, a non-governmental organization, and non-profit making organization. They have come forward with a strong report that has really modified and influenced our activities. To strengthen that, I personally signed a letter of commendation to them so that we also tell them that, look, our doors is always open to constructive criticism so that we can work together to see how much we can make it better. And then, thirdly, we have also come up with the principle of inclusivity that nobody will be left behind. For instance, now we are just serving a training skilled wealth program that is going nationwide, and we have zoned Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones. In that, our inclusivity concept here is that female must be included, even in automobile. People with disability must also be included, and then choice of the selection of a candidate must also be done free and fair to avoid being skewed to one or this thing, and also to ensure that all the part of the countries are also represented equally. Now, that's 3. And then the fourth one is to see also doing it in the open. For instance, I can count the number of times since I became the Minister of State of Humanitarian Affairs that I have been into your studio. So also the Minister has been here and many other broadcasting houses to ensure that we're explaining to people what we are doing, where we are, and where we are headed, so that people can believe in us and this. And so far, whatever we have promised that we are going to do, within our possible means, we have tried to ensure that it is done in the best interest of Nigeria. And then, lastly, we also encompasses every organ of government from local government to national. For instance, the conditional cash transfer. A lot of misgiving that people thought it was a state programs. While we definitely cooperate and work together in harmony with states being the owners of those people, and they also the one where it's through them that we generate our data and then use that data to send feedback to those who are enrolled in our national social register as a form of conditional cash transfer. People thought that those programs are not federal government-owned program. It's federal government-owned program being funded directly by the federal government. And I will mention later as today, over 253 billion
in a moment, but I'm sure, Dr.
Sununu,
that people know that it is a federal government-owned program, because it's one of the programs that the president mentioned after he had declared an end to the fuel subsidy era. But I will get to that. You talked about people believing in you and the minister. But one of the things that people wanted to see was some sort of restructuring in the ministry, especially and CPA, that was also in the eye of the storm, and that particular agency is responsible for a lot of programs that has to do with money, and Nigerians have not seen that sort of restructuring.
A lot of restructuring has been done in the NSPA, and we are also moving forward. For instance, virtually there is total overhaul of NSPA. right from the national coordinator to all the national program managers. And a lot of our senior staff are also, there is an overhaul. All of them are new and they are agile and strong to make sure that we have a strong and better experience. They are also well experienced in financial transaction. I've mentioned the national coordinator and all the national program manager, even the GIVE, Government Enterprises and Empowerment Program. Just recently, Mr. President, about 2 days ago, Mr. President appointed the national program manager. So you can see now the whole this thing. And in terms of also what we are doing there, we have structured it in such a way that now digital identity will be the determining factor of how much we engage in terms of using fund. And that has also transformed the system and bring about a lot of accountability. So that if today we've said that we have paid so amount, so number of people, we'll have evidence in terms of digital identity that we can forward to you, and you are for free to go and verify such this. These are all newer innovation that is coming. And then our way of doing things has also changed in such a way that we have become very, very proactive. We have our own internal mechanisms that we develop our own tool for tracking, monitoring and evaluation of our own program within the NSPA itself. You understand? And as soon as possible now, all the programs that have so far been suspended will come into being, and people will see a lot of changing. Even the Empower program that we have to structure it in such a way that it will be given a direct connection to labor market. Just like the School 12 program that I've mentioned that is ongoing now, we have linked them directly to the market. For instance, now if you look at the automobile component that we are working, we have a strong relationship with GAG Motors, who are part of the training, and we have already agreed with them. The best candidate that will perform excellently during this training will be absorbed to be the staff of the GAG Motors company. So these are all new innovations that we have brought into the system, so as to make sure that we are not only giving you a job that you just go and do for 1 year, and when that time expired, you are nowhere to go. No. We are developing you through a durable solution that will ensure you are connected to the labor market, so that at exit, we have off-takers that you are going to partake with them in all the program you have learned with us. So these are some of the new innovation that we have brought forward.
All right, so let's talk about some of those programs. You already talked about the conditional cash transfer. Some of these programs started way before you and the minister took office. One of them, of course, is a conditional cash transfer. There's the CNG initiative as well, and then there is the palliative distribution. How well, or what was the impact, or what has been the impact of these programs, and are they still on at the moment?
Well, the impact is numerous. You have to know that definitely. We look at both financial and non-financial component of it. If you look at the conditional cash transfer, so far, a lot of Nigerians are excluded financially in terms of having access to bank account, having access to knowing how to do financial transaction in a formal way. Through the conditional cash transfer, we have reached out so far to over 15 million households. We are now talking about over 75 million Nigerians who have been reached out, and they are included financially because they have their digital identity, they have their account number open, they have their NIN, and they are now part and parcel of national register of having their NIN allow them to have their national identity card, and they are also they also have their BBM. And these are all advantages that are not really their financial, because they have now been included. And with little now, whatever they need, they can easily access that. And also, let us also know that the money that is given to most downtrodden Nigerians at lower part of the ladder of Nigerians. And that money, one may not see it but to average Nigerian who find himself at that level will always we have seen people crying, people celebrating, people praying because they are crying because they are enjoying that they have had that money, and they are praying for Mr. President. You understand? So these are some of the impact, and most of them also we have encouraged them, and they develop into cooperative group. And normally you also know that even civil servants are used to that monthly contributions. So they are also into cooperative group contributing, bringing more money and buying resources and then selling and buying and then sharing the dividends in terms of the profit. And that has also encouraged them to bring them as a family, to also encourage them to work together and also to improve the understanding in among Nigerians by removing barriers here and there. Because most of those people that are coming together to form a cooperative are not necessarily from the same tribe, from the same religion, or even from the same family. So that has improved social interactions among people. And not only that also, some of the program we are going to do, we are doing and we have done also, is the fact that look at the relationship between smallholder farmer aggregators in terms of national homegrown school feeding program that we have now redesigned to make it more effective so that more people can be reached. We source more food from them and they go into the market, and that also gives them some financial capacity that they can expand their land to farm more for the benefit of Nigerians so that food security can also be enhanced in that. And also the issue of this, we all know that an idle mind is a double workshop. And that's why we came up with this concept of skill 12, which have started now so far. We have enrolled over 1,000 plus Nigerians as a pilot study. We are going to the full blown of that skill 12 everything is being done as the training is ongoing. And they don't even need to go out. Everything is provided at center. We collaborated with another government agency, Digital Bridge Institute, which have training center in all the 6 geopolitical zones. And that's why the training is doing. What is the essence of this? Is to get them more concentrated to what took them to that camp. And they are doing that, and as soon as they finish, we'll issue them with their starter pack, and we have already connected them to a lot of manufacturers where they can source their solar panel. For digital, for those in automobile, we have also told them, we have already connected them with the gag motors. And for also those who are into agriculture like greenhouses, we have already told them the component they can grow there and how much they can market it. And we have also started sensitizing the off-takers of the product. So a lot is being done in a different manner to ensure that this, and then the impact of that is that we are going to massively reduce the number of unemployed people and also to increase the capacity and skills of Nigerians and the desire to go out and this. And one also most important aspect of the whole program is the fact that we have succeeded in removing job biases among youth in Nigeria, because all those that we have gathered in that area, they are youth at their prime age of productivity. And those, most of them also are also graduate, who some of them read agriculture, but they don't have the interest to go into that because they don't have the skill. And now we are giving them the skill. We are giving them the startup pack, and we have also encouraged them, and they are ever ready now to go into the distance. And look at it now.
Dr. Sululu, if I may come in here, because you are outlining very interesting projects and programs that you are going to implement or already implementing. But for Nigerians, just hold on. It is not because you mentioned that people talk about, especially for the conditional cash transfer, how little the money might seem. Sometimes the quality and quantity of what is being given is a challenge, but for Nigerians. But most times, it is the process and the metric by which you choose those who benefit. Nigerians have seen how palliatives are distributed, and they say politicians give it to members of their parties. And so my question really is, especially for the conditional cash transfer, what is the metric that you're using to pick those who benefit from this program?
You see, let me just say that this thing has nothing to do with the partisan politics. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a leader of Nigeria, and he's leading Nigerians. As far as conditional cash transfer, President made it clear, is for vulnerable groups in Nigeria. Vulnerable groups in Nigeria, and each political party has that vulnerable groups, and each party has it. And there is nowhere we said, where will be asked when you come to enrollment into National Social Register, which one is your political party? APC, PDP, this thing. If that happens, I challenge anybody, Nigerians, to come forward to say that. I have been discriminated because I'm a member of Party D, or because I'm not a member of Party A, and I'm favored because I'm a member of this. You understand? These are the, you see, if you look at even the way the mining is done, how to get those in the constitutional cash transfer. I told you that we have state offices. These state offices are manned by those state governments. By this thing, where we are, they get the data, send it to us, we pass it to NIMSI, NIMSI verify it, send it to NASCO, NASCO authenticate it, send it to the World Bank approve it, and no objection is given. It's now forwarded to NCTO, National Conditional Cash Transfer Officer, who will now use the account, through the account in the CBN, will now, disbursement will go to the individual beneficiary. So you understand? So here there is no this, there is nowhere we said that for you to be registered or get this thing, you must go to Party A. That's where you get registered. You see, in political era, everybody is trying to see how much he can say to get sympathy of voters. But you see, where government also does the right thing, Nigerians should be able to say that this is right. There is no state. Okay, if we say that there are states, let's take for example, Zamfara State, Kano State, many other states that are non-APC state. Is the constitutional cash transfer not ongoing? Is it not the government that is to partner with them? You understand? And is there any of the states, they mentioned Kebbi, Sokoto, where the Lagos, where APC are this? Is there any complaint that somebody has been discriminated because of his party? You cannot get that answer. So this is what I said. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime factors so much on inclusivity, and everybody is a major stakeholder, except if you sideline yourself. You understand? So it may be, as I mentioned earlier, there is no way you cannot avoid all this political here and there, talk here and there. You understand? But actually, is it really genuine? Is there proof? Did you bring forward, did you come forward with your proof and nothing was done? So these are the issues. And I assure you that now, today, if you have any genuine complaint that somebody has been excluded, is a vulnerable person, he has been excluded because he has not belonged to the ruling party, please let me have that person. And we will see how much we can tackle those who excluded him. Because that is not the directive of the Mr. President. It has to be inclusive, it has to be all involved, all engaged in terms of access.
All right, let's look at the new report by the United Nations World Food Programme. It has revealed that a staggering 33 million people are expected to face acute food insecurity in Nigeria, and that's this year. That's huge when you also look at the fact that it is 7 million, it increased by 7 million from last year, which shows that more people are falling into poverty. What is your anticipatory response, or what is the ministry's anticipatory response to mitigate this challenge?
You see, the anticipatory response of the ministry is to see, first of all, how much can we do to prevent what are the situations that may worsen this thing. And one of these is therefore it becomes a multi-sectoral approach. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has really directed that multi-sectoral approach must be given. First of all, what is the major cause of food insecurity that is apart from insecurity? Flooding. People will lose their distance in the shortest possible time. And already, NAMED has done a wonderful job by bringing forward those areas that are prone to flooding. And then a lot of meetings like this. We have had a stakeholders meeting, and also through the office of the Vice President of the Republic of Nigeria, a lot is being done to ensure that we have reached proactively. We support those people who are in a flood-prone areas to get them how much they can be located, and also to ensure that we put much emphasis in terms of dry season farming. You understand? Because you have to have the distance. If you cannot make it in the rainy season because of the flooding, you must make an alternative plan to have a national focus in terms of how much you can structure to improve your dry season farming. And I want to tell you that a lot of states has key into this. I was sometimes in Kebbi State. I know how much the government has imported fertilizer, how much it has imported seedlings, and how much it's imported machinery in order to assist in mechanizing the dry season farming in Nigeria so that more food can be produced, especially the state that has been known with rice production. So also if you go to the Ministry of Agriculture, you see, when you are talking of in terms of humanitarian and poverty reduction, it's a holistic approach. If you go to agriculture, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, they will tell you how much they are doing, most especially in Jigawa State, that they have acquired so much land and they are partnering with state government. And then on our own part also, we have looked at those who were internally displaced sometimes back. And we are working together with them, and we have already signed an MOU, which I've mentioned here, with NALDA, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, and then Refugee Commission, to see how much we can bring them together, to see how they can go into farming. And the glory to God, we were there last year, and we have gone round to harvest what they have so far planted. And then in terms of the number of hectares that they have planted, we are now doubling or tripling that hectare this year, so that more can be accessed. And then the other issue also, you must see that the focus of Mr. President of creating new ministry that takes care of animal resources is also this animal health. It's also another attempt to see how much it can be pushed forward to ensure that we have a nutrient that can be supportive to whatever can be produced in our farms. So there are a lot of multiple approaches that are doing to ensure that we food security. But for us also,
Minister, if I may come in here, because it's interesting you mentioned the fact that this is a multi-sectoral approach to dealing with this crisis. But there is also the intergovernmental approach, because people feel like it is at a state level that these projects and programs of the federal government are made or marred. When you look at the palliative distribution, federal government will say we have given to states thousands of bags of rice, and then by the time you look at what trickles down and what people are taking home, it's sometimes, one tiny thing tied in a small bag. It looks like nothing that can feed a person, let alone a family.
But I think my discussion.
My question really is the monitoring and evaluation mechanism you have put in place to ensure that it actually trickles down at the state level.
You see, I've mentioned even in my discussion that it doesn't state it's multi-sectoral and multi-government, and I mentioned to you that I was in one of the states to see how much of agricultural services equipment that were distributed, and it went well. You understand? You understand this, and also that we are working closely with National Assembly, most especially the Committee on Humanitarian Affairs in both Senate and National Assembly, to see how much we can also be actively involved in tracking those items going to the state. You understand? So that they are not only kept, but shared at the right time. You see, these are some challenges that when you have a constitution that brought about concurrent and some exclusive list, you understand? But despite that, as a ministry, is one of the reforms we are making to see how much are we going to work. And that's why sometimes I mentioned here, one of the ways that we are trying to correct that, to have a holistic approach, is to see how much we can galvanize ourselves to come together from the local government to the federal level to work together as a team. So that if something is in so that I can easily work there, call the commissioner, call the governor and say, this is what is coming for that state and how much are we dissing. This is what we have received. So have been received for so month. Up to now, it has not been shared among the people in the state. And this is not also our dissing. A lot of issues are dissing. Most of the time, even NEMA can take relief materials and palliative to state. And it takes longer time. At times, it will even spoil before it is done. Before it's shared. And that's why we said now we are working hard to see how much we can correct on that. And the way we are doing that, we have done one of our summit, we are going into another one, and then finally we'll crown it all by having National Council of Humanitarian and Poverty Reduction. It is on all these areas that we now listen to different level of conference from the state, down from the federal down to state, and then agree on best modality of action. But I want to tell you that as of today, utilization of palliative by state in terms of immediate distribution has significantly improved. And that no governor now will want to hold, or nobody will want to keep a palliative items in his state without distributing it. That I can assure you of that. Because Nigerians have cried, Nigerians have seen reason to say what they said, and a lot of measures have been taken to correct those. And then we on our own also, I told you that we have developed our tool and mechanism to see how much we can monitor, and then move forward with interventions.
All right, just because you mentioned the hoarding and all of that usually will go on at the state level, I also wanted to, let's now talk about what the federal government is set to launch or relaunch, because it's been there before, but it looks like a government is bringing it back, which is the Renewed Hope National Homegrown School Feeding Program. And that will be launched, I think it's on Thursday, yes, 29th May. You have said that the program aims to combat child hunger and then improve education outcomes. And that you're going to use locally sourced ingredients. I just wanted to talk to us about that, because this program has been there before and had some challenges.
Yes, the program has been there and it has some challenges, and since for a long time now we have been meeting together to address the issues of those challenges. And the last one we are going to resolve is we have a presidential committee on that, and which I'm going to make a presentation any moment from now to the presidential committee, so that all other areas, that gray areas, can be resolved and then move forward. You see, the aim of that is to see how much we improve in terms of the IQ of our children and also their academic progressions, and how much can also indirectly improve through nutritional support to the children. And also this is also serve as one of our strategies of avoiding the 30 million of Nigerians that will suffer from hunger. Because if we assure children in school, they will have one daily meal that is nutritious. At least that will also take care of their nutritional needs. And also, it has economic value, as I've mentioned. The cooks that we are going to use, the aggregators that we are going to use, the smallholder farmers will all benefit in one way or the other in improving their addition. And then they also have a direct uptakers from what they have produced, so as to ensure that they avoid wastage, most especially of perishable items like tomatoes and many others. So that is one addition. And then study have also gone to show that where you have an effective school feeding, enrollment tends to increase. For instance, we have a partnership with a private organization, Alma Foundation, which I went to Jere in Kaduna State. Jere is a Sangat school, which we have gone there and we have launched it. We have started with 750 students, and the philanthropist is giving them 2 square meals per day. And as of today, they have over 1,000 students, 1,400 as from the last report we had, and they have also progressed towards this. Instead of even, as recommended by the Act, to give the primary 1 to 3, he has took it upon himself to give everybody in that school. So the enrollment is now becoming a decent. And then even just today, to mark our Children's Day, I was out of the country. The minister was there today at the Abuja Continental Hotel, where he flagged up another public-private partnership in terms of school feeding program. There is a Fulani settlement here around Karsana, which they don't have school, and together with the National Commission for Almajiri Out of School Children, NSPA, National Homegrown School Feeding Programs, and then Education and the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, we have gone there to see how much we can do to better the life of that community by bringing them school and also by introducing philanthropy-sponsored school feeding program. And we are sure that will help in a lot of these are people that are complaining they have been neglected. And to be this morning, if you see how well dressed they are to Abuja Continental Hotel for the flag of the ceremony, you surely know that really there is that desire by the parent and the addition to put forward their children wards to school. All we needed to do is how much can we stimulate them. And that
would bring me to the next question. I've talked about how this program has been there. It was launched in 2005, relaunched again in 2016. And I also mentioned that it came with myriad of challenges. And all of these challenges, came about because of the monitoring and coordination difficulties. And my question, what are you going to do differently in terms of monitoring and coordination?
You see, what we are going to do differently now is that we have to...
Just a minute, Dr. Sununu, if you actually have done your investigation to see that this program actually had impact, because for a lot of people, they are not sure that it actually achieved what it was set to achieve, which is increased enrollment.
You see, let me say one thing. You see, you have to look at the approach. The approach has changed from what you know it before. You know, last time I was here when I was Minister of State of Education, and you asked me about National Homegrown School Feeding Program. And I think, if I can vividly remember, you interviewed me that time. And I told you, actually, it's something that I just really have to go and find out how is it run. Because as at that time, the ministry was not in close contact with the program. But as of today, everything has changed. The narrative has changed. We have 3 at the program office, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, and also we have National Steering Committee, which involve education, involve health, because it has to do with nutrition, it involves labor, it involves women affairs, because we are dealing with children, it involves Ministry of Agriculture, because we are going to work with the aggregator farmers, it involves also budget and economic planning, it also involves finance, on which we have sat down, developed that programs. And then we also have a presidential committee, which we are going to make final presentation today. The presentation will have held yesterday, but unfortunately, at the directive of Mr. President, I have to be outside the country for another meeting. A minister was also engaged with other so the presentation will be done soon, so that we make sure that what is there in the last season. And then we have also come up with layered monitoring and evaluation. We have verifiers that are working there effectively now. So verifier will start from the ward, report to the local government will report to state office will report to zonal office, and then the zonal office will now directly report into the Office of National Program Manager of Homegrown School Feeding Program, who will now let the National Coordinator of NCPA be aware of our development and happenings, and also he will report to us, and then all other, that's how we can escalate it. But meanwhile also, we are also bringing digital touch to it, so that we are developing a dashboard whereby a minister or any major stakeholder, anyone, you can just click in and know where are we today as far as our National Homegrown School Feeding Program. And this is done to actually make it better in terms of what? In terms of transparency. And most importantly also, we have gotten the support of organization. The World Food Program is serious. Tomorrow I'm having a meeting with them. We are also going to have a roundtable review of all the things, and they have seen our commitment, and they are ready. Already about 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with virtually all the development partners, civil society groups that are working in National Homegrown School Feeding Program. Because as of today, there are some organizations that have taken satellite schools in various states, and they are doing their National Homegrown School Feeding Program to see it as an intervention to address the low level of education at that level. And we are working with them. They've all agreed that they are really to mobilize their power, because the main reason is that they have seen transparency, in the sense that what is done now before with with very few people's knowledge, now it was brought under the table. We have looked at it together. We have addressed many issues together, and therefore they have developed the confidence that what we are doing now is the right thing, and they are ready to support us. So these are some of the
Dr. Sunura, I have to come in because we have a few minutes left, and I want to try and get in as much questions that I can in the next few minutes. As I read the statement put out by your ministry about the school feeding program, and that it will cover pupils from primary 1 to primary 3, and I was wondering, are you not concerned that whatever progress you make at that level, in primary 1 to 3, can be upturned between primary 4 to 6? That you begin to see dropout at that level if parents are unable to sustain the welfare of their wards?
Well, your observation was right, but also you have to know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's regime, one of its 8-point agenda, a cardinal principle, is the respect for the rule of law. If you look at the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, it's not just a program. It is an act, it's a product of Act of National Assembly. And the Act of National Assembly specifically stated primary 1 to 3. You understand? But we're also looking at the advantage. The ministry is also looking at we have started consultations. And in doing that, we make a presentation to Federal Executive Council to see how much can we extend it because of the immense benefit it has. And then with that, but for now, since the Act has already made it specific, limiting our activities to primary 1 to 3, we will ensure that that primary 1 to 3 is done in the best way it's supposed to be done, so that Nigerians can now see the advantage. And then, as I mentioned, trust is something that we need to have to inculcate and also cultivate. And we have begun to do that. Now we have seen people, AMA Foundation approach the ministry. This one, the Castana program, approach ministry. And already we have received a lot of requests to come for dialogue. All they needed is, look, they want to key into the program of Mr. President to see how much they can also render their own support. And that's why I mentioned you. For the Jere, he has also volunteered not only to take primary 1 to 3, everybody in the school. And he has even included, they have graduated now to JSS1. And he still continue with FIDE. So you understand? So these are the issues. And more or less also as we go, we do hope that the resources in Nigeria will be available. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when it comes to education, is ready to do this. Look at the NEL fund. People were saying that it cannot happen. But today, Nigerian students have stopped begging anybody for extra money, for allowance for this. All they need to do is just register, money will be paid to school, and you have your pocket money that will be given every month until you graduated. So that is how, and that has relieved a lot of suffering and nightmares among parents. You understand? A lot of people are thankful about that. So even in the primary level and basic education, you look at it. If you want to come to education, the president is out to ensure that this. In fact, quoting him right, poverty, he said, is not a reason that should deny any child access to education in Nigeria. And if given food will address the issue of poverty's negative aspect on education, I'm sure Mr. President will look at it this. So this is what we are saying. It's a government that believes in actions. It's a government that is also moving forward and tracking and monitoring what it has done so that necessary amendment to make it better is there. And that's why I've mentioned a lot of changes that we have so far observed in the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction.
All right.
And all this, I'm telling you, we couldn't have succeeded in doing that without support of Mr. President, who is giving us marching order: be transparent, be accountable, be transparent, be accountable, be transparent, be accountable.
All right.
And Honorable
Minister, we do have to leave it there. There are lots of ministries, or all of the ministries come together to drive the agenda of the president, but your ministry is the fastest and quickest way that the people can feel the impact of the president. And we're hoping that in the next year, as we count down to the third year of the president, the Nigerians will feel that impact and see transparency in your activities. Thank you so much for your time. Minister of State for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Yusuf Sununu.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right, that marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource person is his and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. And use the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube. We can find us on YouTube at TVC News Nigeria. I am Precious Amayu. Thanks for watching.